you don't know what career to follow, you need a vocational test or anything like that. So here I'm going to tell you my experience. This is the best thing that you can do, because you know you can make a test in paper, and it's like saying, okay, which car we like to drive. We like to drive a Tesla, we like to drive a Lamborghini, a Porsche, or something like that, and you never drove any of those cars. So it doesn't make any sense to me. So the best thing is when you do the job, and then you can learn by doing, and you will see if you like it or not. So here I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience and all the things that I've been doing, so that way, you know, I have more experience, I can offer more to the market, and also I can make more fiat, or like some people say, more money. So in this case, we are going to talk about my first job. That was as a helper, as a CPA helper. So I was organizing invoices, doing, you know, those type of paperwork. I learned a few things, and I found out that I don't like that much. It's kind of boring, but you know, is the first thing that I was able to get. So good, and I jumped to the next place. That this was office work. I was doing like phone calls, organizing papers, maybe fixing some computers here and there. So that is my background. So computers, that is my main thing, and I like it, but you know, I wanted to get something else. So after that, I started working for myself in Argentina, and then after that I came here and I started working as a computer technician, and I started learning a few things, learning LTE, for instance, to provide internet to people, you know, in rural areas, and it was great. But the company went down, and then I said, okay, instead of working for a company, I'm going to work for myself again, like I was doing it in Argentina, because those was my first two jobs. But after that, I started fixing computers, having my own business, and doing everything that I wanted, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I did a lot of stuff that I didn't know. So I learned networking, phones, PBXs, video surveillance systems. I learned a lot. So but anyway, when you move to a new country, you have to learn the language. So of course you have to do things that you're not comfortable. So that is the main thing, you know. You do things, you may think, maybe I don't like it, maybe I like it, but you know, yeah, until you don't do it, you're not going to be able to tell, because one thing is in theory, but when you start doing it and you're winning, that is when you're going to like what you're doing. So that is the main thing. So in the beginning, as usual, when you grab maybe your first cell phone, your first bicycle, your first car, or anything like that, you're going to say, okay, I suck on this, I don't know how to drive, I don't know how to ride a bicycle, I don't know how to use a computer or iPhone or Android or something like that. So in the beginning, yeah, you're going to hate it, but after a while, when you start saying, okay, it's not that difficult, now I know how to do it, and then you're going to enjoy it. And then after a while, you're going to say, okay, yes, I like Android or like iPhone, but you have tasted both. It's not something in the book, like I was saying in the beginning. So that is why it's very important, you know, to be able to know these type of things before trying to do some vocational test or something like that. So another thing that I did that I kind of like it is mover, you know. So helping moving people from place to place. Let's say they are living in one house and they want to take all their furniture and move it to another place. Yes, you can make a good amount of fiat, but I'm saying this because money is gold and silver. Fiat is just the dollars or the euro, peso, whatever you earn. So in this case, I was able to make a very good amount of fiat. But the problem is, you know, they don't pay you that much. I mean, I was able to make like at least in 2020 like 70, 65, 60, something like that. So no, I need the next step. You know, I need to be able to make more. So usually people, at least when you start working on these type of things, you will see what is the top amount that people are willing to pay, and that's it. The thing is, in the basic shops, the problem that you're going to find is because you have a lot of offers. You know, I mean, the entry level is very low. I mean, anybody can do it, so people are not going to be able to, or they are willing to pay so much because, you know, anybody can do it. So moving furniture, okay, you have some type of art that you have to know, you know, how to wrap them up and all the things, so that way you avoid scratches. You have to be very careful and all the things. But like any other trade, once you learn it, you know, it's very easy. But you're going to be doing like very effort. I mean, a lot of effort every time to move big stuff. It's very nice. And maybe, I mean, if you want to do another type of stuff, these type of things, I would recommend them maybe once a week. I mean, if you don't want to do some exercise, or otherwise go to the gym and do something else that you can earn some more fiat. So in this case, we have landscaping. I did this as well. I learned, you know, cutting grass, trying to leave everything, you know, very neat and nice in the yard and all those things. But, you know, like I said, they usually don't pay that much. So I decided, okay, I need something extra, something that is going to pay me more. I try also to be an Uber driver. It was nice. I mean, you can chat with a lot of people, but, you know, because you have so many drivers, and anybody can drive. I mean, because not anybody can drive, you know, anybody can be a Uber driver, and you're not going to make very much. But at least I did. It was a nice experience. I'm not driving for them anymore because they don't pay enough. But if they were paying maybe $100 an hour, $200 an hour, yeah, I'll be driving. But and in the beginning, they used to. Someone told me that they used to pay like $10 just for the first stop, you know, when you pick up the person, and then after that, each mile they were paying you maybe $1 or something like that, and then, you know, maybe you could make like $500 or $600 a day. That was nice, but today maybe 200, 300. So I say, well, no, they don't pay enough. I'm going to do something else. Because you know when I was in Argentina, I had all my customers and everything. So here in US, you have to start from scratch. So meanwhile you are building your clientele, you have to, you know, try to make some extra cash. So that is what I did until I started finding, you know, different type of shops. I started talking with more people. People will start knowing me, and then you can, you know, move to another industry. So I did also Roddy is like kind of Uber, but for packages. They didn't pay that much. You make a lot of miles, but it doesn't make any sense. At least with the knowledge that I have now, all my experience, the new things that I can do. So it doesn't make any sense doing any of that. I did towing too, so towing some cars here and there. But you know, again, because the entry point is very low, they don't pay you that much. And computer guy, so PC guy. So here. Here is my forte, like I said before. So here I can repair electronics. Usually here in US doesn't make any sense repair electronics because electronics here are very cheap. But when you're outside of United States, it's another story. And usually fixing electronics, it makes sense. You can make it more fiat. So I did classes in person and online. So now I'm doing online. I did it in person many times. It's nice. Here they can pay you kind of decent, maybe not as much as doing another thing. So for instance, in person I was able to charge like 60 an hour, but now I'm charging more for another type of job. So of course, when the more things you know, or the task or skills that are more difficult than most people, they don't know, they don't have it, they don't know how to do it or anything like that, and you can do it, and then you can, you know, go to the next step until you are in the top. I did mining classes. I did this. I mined a Bitcoin and another cryptocurrencies. I learned a lot, so that was nice. I don't do it anymore. The electricity here in the US is very expensive. Also, for another reasons. If you want to know more about that, I have another video about that. Being a coder, I learned how to code in C++, Pascal, and Basic for the Commodore 64. So yes, it's nice, but you know, you have to spend a lot of hours in front of the computer, and I like to be able to talk with people, moving from one place to another, so that way I can drive, do different things, and that way, you know, it keeps me motivated. I don't like to be in a cubicle, you know, like you see in the movies, like in the Matrix, maybe on any other movie where people are sitting there 8 hours, 10 hours every day. That drives me crazy. I need to move. I need to move. So maybe 2 hours here, 2 hours there, 3 hours there. Or if I stay in one place, you know, the full day is because I'm doing different things. I'm going to talk more about that later. So I did a help desk here in US. They don't pay you much. At least companies, maybe they pay you like 25. To me, it's not that much. It's very little. If you work for yourself, maybe people will pay you maybe 70, 80, 100, something like that. But you know, usually they don't like paying that much. At least you're not going to be able to work, you know, 10 hours just fixing a computer or virus. They are going to throw it away and buy a new computer, you know. But when you fix expensive things, yeah, people are willing to pay more. If you are maybe fixing a computer or something, a system that costs thousands of dollars, yeah, they don't care paying you, you know, $500 or $1,000, because you know they pay maybe 50,000 or 20,000. So that is the big difference. I think in networking, hardwire, running cables, that people are willing to pay more, because you know it's kind of a hard work. It's kind of difficult, and if you know how to do it, you can earn very well. I have done that very well. I did some ways, but you know, you have to be in rural areas. Usually you don't have a lot of people doing these type of things, at least in masses, like maybe in other shops, maybe like being a plumber or electrician or something like that. So also another shops that I have done here in US, I learned, I knew electricity when I was in Argentina, but here I learned more things, the code, how people, you know, how things work here. So after learning, being with people that are licensed, so I was able to do jobs like, you know, replacing electric panels, running cables, fixing things, maybe ceiling fans, or installing ceiling fans or stuff like that. People are willing to pay for those things. And if you replace electric panels and all those things, yep, you're going to make a big buck. Being plumber, I didn't know anything about plumbing or anything like that. I did a few little jobs, maybe replacing like a faucet or just a small part inside to fix it in Argentina, but no more than that. Here is when I bought an old house and I started learning. Also, I was able to help another guys, and I mostly learned here doing things in the house that I bought. So that was great. Now I can offer these type of services, and they I mean, being as an electrician, they can pay you 75, 80 an hour. Plumber, same thing, very easily, and people are willing to pay all those because, you know, they have water leaks, or they have to replace a toilet or anything like that. Yep, that is great, good cash. So that is why I made videos about those type of topics here in my channel. So if you want to learn about that, you watch the video, and that's it. So also I did drywalls. Like 2 days ago, I did some flooring. I watched a few YouTube videos, like a few months ago, and I went to the customer. I did it. The customer was happy. I did it. It's not that difficult. If you have common sense and the right tools, you can do it just fine. So most of the stuff in construction or almost anything, just by, if you can watch a YouTube video, or maybe if you learn and if you have some knowledge and you know how to use tools, you can do almost everything. And the good thing about this is that you can stay in those skills. I mean, you can keep working on those skills that you like the most, because yes, I could say yes, maybe landscaping, really I don't like it that much. I have done it, the cash is not there, so that is why I don't stay. But even if the cash was good, if I can do something that is more fulfilling, because that is another part, you have to find something that is going to be fulfilling. Cutting plants or grass or something like that, to me it doesn't make any sense, because you're cutting it now, in a few weeks the grass is going to be tall again. It's like all your effort in vain, kind of. So to me, if I had to, if I had a big yard or something like that, I would put a synthetic grass, and that's it. I don't have to cut it anymore. It will be more economical. You don't waste people's lives cutting something that you can replace very easily. That is my opinion. Of course, some people will disagree about. If you disagree, please let me know in the comment section below. But I feel more fulfilling. It's more fulfilling to me doing electrical work, plumbing, drywall, flooring, maybe running cables, something related to computers, because it's something that you do and then it will last few years or many years. If you run, for instance, Ethernet cables, Cat 6 in a house, it may last 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, who knows, until they want to upgrade. But usually those, even you have networks that they still run on Cat M5E, and they're still good. I mean, most people, at least in companies, they use their computer to check emails, browse it a little bit, maybe transfer some data from here to there, and that's it. But usually, I mean, is good enough. So with these type of things, it's something that is going to last for many years. Cutting grass or moving furniture from one place to another, to me is not that fulfilling. But you're never going to know all those things just by doing some quiz test or anything like that. If you never done it before, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, you think that you may not like, but maybe you do, and then maybe you say, oh, cutting grass is my thing. I like to cut the grass all the time, maybe work with the dirt and everything. There you go, that's it. But if you're reading in a paper, maybe it doesn't make any sense. But after you do it, maybe you like it. Or like me, doing work as an electrician, plumber, or handyman work, or computers or whatever is at the reach of your hand. So hopefully this video was useful. If you have any question, let me know in the section below, and see you in the next class.